Kicking it off is going to be CAZ versus Barrage. So a very interesting match. We've been having a bit of a conversation just before the pre-game about this match. And Flakes, I think you're very confident in your prediction for this match.
I think I'm confident throughout the entire night, and it's a bit of a different night really overall, because you never really go into an evening of Counter-Strike and say, yep, it's going to be a clean kind of 4-0 to these teams. It's just going to be, you know, nice and smooth best of twos. And kind of to add context to that, should I say, I'm looking at CAZ Esports and going, okay, you've got the players, you've got the kind of the experience almost now. I think for Barrage, yes, we can expect them to see put up a little bit more of a fight. Yes, maybe we can see, you know, perhaps even a 16-6, but I really am expecting it to be a bit of a whitewash almost. They have got players like Velox who have been renowned in the past for landing these shots with the AWPs and such, and he was very, very talented. I remember seeing him break out during one of the first things I casted in terms of competitive Counter-Strike, which is UK Masters Season 1, I believe it was. But then after the back of a couple of bad decisions, he kind of found himself in a bit of a rough one, so...
I love that optimism. I'm sorry, I got a buddy. I love that optimism. Yeah, I think they could do well. I think they could maybe get 16-6. And it's like,
just,
oh, okay.
Just being honest, man.
You're saying if they do well, they'll get 6 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hold much faith. Like I'm playing for them to prove me wrong here. That's what I want to like. I want to be proved wrong. I want to stand here and look like an idiot, because if I look like an idiot, it means these guys from Barrage Esports have done something right. They've climbed that mountain. They've kind of broken their sins, however you want to put it.
Yeah,
it'll be pretty damn epic for them. So it just comes down to whether they are going to be able to kind of play up to that level, which is, yeah, I think going to be a very contentious question for the night, and one that's going to be heavily predicted backwards and forwards.
Yeah, and I mean, again, with the obvious potential roster shuffles that come after pretty much every single map.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it's true. We've got the main analysis, I guess, of some of these matches are going to be just looking at some of the star players that we have, and CAZ definitely has a better lineup of star players. You know, some big names, at least in the UK scene. We've got Boast, we got Windansky, obviously, and you know, the whole lot, Jacob and everyone really is. You know, they're all fairly big names in the UK scene, whereas Barrage, as you said, Velox, yeah, kinda, and then, you know, it kind of dips down after that. So that is one of the issues we're facing. Barrage have a serious lack of firepower, at least that we know of, but maybe they can surprise us, Flakes. Maybe they'll show us something special. We don't know, but we're going to be jumping into the pistol round anyway. Barrage starting on that T side, and CAZ going for the CT side.
Let's get ourselves into the action. As they say, it is going to be that CT side start for CAZ Esports. They're going to get themselves what seems to be their standard position of, okay, we're going to put 3 over towards B, perhaps get some short aggression to roll in and make sure we pin down apartments. As Barrage, they're quick on their heels. They're beginning to get this lightning quick charge out through apartments now as well, trying to really meet up with the CAZ side. It is going to be Shank to face on first. Windansky with his pistol. The tapping away finds himself the Cheshire on towards Shank. Jacob with a second on towards Wong. Windansky another on towards Neto, and is all but falling into place at this point. A chess game perfectly in the making as Connor will swing in from behind, catches the life of Pedo. Against Barrage Esports in a bit of a rough one. Velox, the last man standing, and the last man to hit the deck.
Great stuff from CAZ there, keeping 3 players alive as well. Good confident start for them, and obviously with Barrage not getting the bomb down, we're likely to see the second round force coming in here. They are going to take a bit of time, so clearly trying to plan something up here, and it's looking like a bit of a deagle based buy, so I like this. Going for that long range engagements at least, and if they can take some mid control with that, go for something, you know, kind of slow and progressive, that could definitely work out for them. And Wong, he's going to do exactly that. Heads into mid, spots out Connor, a bit of a tag, but he has got that armor on him at least, so it's not going to be too dangerous. And Barrage just holding a bit of a default for the meantime, with Shanked outside of A, some control over towards B apps, and you know, the majority of them just pushed in towards mid.
It's certainly a smart positioning from Barrage, you know, especially when you add in that they are just on these decals. They want to be holding angles. They don't want to be pushing into angles. It's a very kind of almost proactive play instead of being reactive in the same regard, which for a T side is certainly a bit of a flip of the coin almost, but eventually that has to change, right, Hugo? We can't just see them kind of spin down this clock. They are going to have to push out some angles, clear out some sites, and play for that bomb plant, really. That's kind of best case for them. Get this bomb down, and from there, a round is on the cards, but who knows? Let's look at ramp right now. Let's get the picture on what is going on over there, because it is going to be Barrage stacking up a lot of their firepower. Triple man stack to roll in there. They've got the bomb on the back, of course, of Neto. Windansky, though, is going to be a pretty huge concern. Not only can he spot out this push, they can look for these shots. Picks off Shanked as well from Palace. That means that the hopes of Barrage in terms of this push are starting to fall apart. But Velox, a quick shot on towards Windansky. Can at least make this one seem a little more doable. Looking for a second on towards Connor. Velox. Raiders just going to find one with the P90. Or the UMP, should we say. But it is looking to go a bit back and forth. We find ourselves pitched in 2 versus 2.
Lucky for CAZ, they actually have to send 4 towards the back of the CT spawn, so that's going to be perfect for playing the long-range engagements like that. Jacob going to be able to execute Peto, and it's all suddenly on Velox after his magical openings. is going to start to fall away, trickle away from the side of Barrage, and he's going to have to go pretty big. Tags down Boaster again, but it's just not going to be enough damage here. Jacob's just holding the bomb, and it's so easily in his favour. 10 seconds left. There's just no time for him to do anything, and Jacob's just going to clean up that round. That was pretty much solely on the fact that when Dansky brought that M4 towards spawn, it was the only M4 or FAMAS on the team, and it got thrown around between a couple of players and managed to mop up pretty much all of Barrage there. So while it was looking like a bit of a successful force here for the T side, it is eventually going to come back to haunt them. They are going on to the eco. Apart from Velox, he's actually gone for an MP7 with no armor. Misbuy or some crazy strategy?
Yeah, I think crazy strategy is more leaning towards on this one. At least we have kind of one positive to look towards. Hey, CAZ Sports, they've shown us what they got up to over Christmas. It was a clear-cut game of pass the parcel, and they got themselves some pretty damn sweet rewards. That 2-0 start, as they now try and break into the new year with a bit of a positive vibe. See if they can make some money with that SMG, though it is going to be a bit of a different affair. The amount of damage it can potentially take, as Connor is going to find one on towards Neto. Reason a triple kill for him. Pops it up to a 4K, and he is a happy man as he struts his stuff. Eventually going to walk away from that one. CAZ Esports 3-0. Barrage back on the buy, though.
Yeah, I can't really justify that buy at all, though. If you dropped this to someone with armor, it would make sense. But going for an armless MP7 on the A site, I don't know.
I mean, at least buy armor once you've realised you've made that mistake and bought it, right?
Yeah, no,
At
he
least
only had
then adapt to
$300 left. That's why I feel like it was a bit of a misbuy. He spent all his cash on that, so I don't really know. Maybe you'll have to ask one of the players on Twitter or something, because I'm very confused by what he was trying to achieve with that. But either way, they're into their buy and they're going for that fast mid push. Wong, he is going to open things up into a window, but there will be a quick trade. Jacob fast on the trickle with the AWP and putting it back into a 4-on-4 instantly. But there's still a rifle drop down middle that Peto could potentially pick up. Issue is he is on the other side of the map. He might need to back off a little bit just to go grab that. CAZ Esports just sitting pretty for the time being. There's no real reason to get aggressive here on the CT side. They've got the equalization. Yeah, it's going to favour the T side in terms of numbers, but there's no real reason to push up any further to find themselves some early kills. And Boaster's already pushed up into a bit of a position here over in App. A couple of players just about to walk into his grasp. This could be good for him. The SMG going to be great at this kind of range, and Petto doesn't even check the corner, but Jacob, he's going to support Boaster. He sprays away, but only the dink onto one. It's now going to be equalised, but that Molotov going to hold them back, and so they can't even push into the B site just yet, and Wong being so low, he can't even justify a rush through that through the flames.
This actually plays perfectly into the hands of the CT side, right? Because usually you would be looking at 3 versus 3 and saying, okay, maybe this is that kind of pinpoint perfection side for a T side to get that pick and then from there launch forward into a round. But no, look at their HPs. Wong just 4 HP. Actually, just that getting that dink, there's so much value now for the CTs to play with. All Reason has to do is kind of just lurch around mid, lurch around A, get himself just almost as this hard anchor sort of role, just drop it on towards CT perhaps. And for Barrage, they kind of are clawing themselves out of a pretty deep dark hole. Connector seemed to be a bit of a big push for them, see if they can just force their way out on towards this A site, and a bit of a last minute spurt of energy is when Dansky is going to try and come in from jungle. Wong there to meet him, but Shanked and Wong will combine. Headshots for them, but Reason is able to pick off Neto, leaving, as mentioned, 4 HP and 97 on Shanked. I wouldn't say this is impossible.
No, and Jacob, he only needs to land 2 1v1s, and that's very possible with that Molotov. Great shot into Shanks. He doesn't know where the second player is, and look at this. Wong's already wrapping back around towards the ramp. Issue is, bomb's not going to be planted for him, and Jacob's actually going to go for the full stick. He fakes the scoping as well, so Wong doesn't even know he's fully committing to it. That will be the round for CAZ. Great stuff from Jacob. Nice use of that Molotov to force Shanked off the site. And Wong, I like the idea of a rotation, but it was just too little too late, and the bomb wasn't even planted for him, which makes things so much more difficult as well. So Barrage, they got the money from the bomb, but it's still going to be the half by here. Only some Tech 9s and a bit of armor, and I'd like to see something explosive and fast. If they could just hit A really quickly, set up smokes on the fly, this could be perfect, especially with the setup from CAZ. Look, only one player on the A site, and Reason only just getting into jungle here, but he's focusing on connector.
Can we just talk about as well, just kind of going back to the previous round and now bring it into this one as well. It's just Jacob, this fear factor that he's bringing with this AWP. Just look at him bounce around the place. He's on towards short. Next minute, we're going to see him on A. Next, we're going to see him just rotating and bearing down through connector. There's so many angles that he's at that Barrage really don't have any idea where this AWP is going to be. And of course, bring it back to the action on the site. Well, what is there to say? It's pretty much a bloodbath. The headstones have been built. The graveyards are being dug on out as Barrage next in line.
Yep, CAZ 5-0. Your prediction is definitely correct so far, but they are going to have a lot of money into this one, and that's where things may be able to switch up, at least in their favour. Enough to go for that AWP as well, and Wong, he's going to dom that, so maybe we'll see something interesting from Barrage coming into this buy round. I don't think they've pulled out the AWP just yet, or no, they haven't. Yeah, no, they haven't. Okay, I wasn't sure on that one, but Setting up a default again. A couple of players over in B-Apps. You've got this top mid control as well, and Barrage just holding back for the time being. But CAZ aren't likely to be pushing into their grasp for the time being. Obviously, you're very likely to see some aggression from the CT side on Barrage. It's one of those maps which really facilitates it, but without some kind of great lead, it's not going to be too deep. Apart from Boaster over in Palace, quick kill, or Apartments, quick kill onto Wong. The AWP's out of the question now, and Barrage already diminished to 4 men without a refrag.
It's the confidence on CAZ right now. I kind of just talked about it on JK, but it really is a bit of an illness that has kind of caught onto the entirety of their team as Boaster decides, you know what, I am going to repeat this. I feel like I can land it, and he gets away with it unscathed. Potentially even an opportunity to go for a second, but decides, you know what, I've got one. There's value in this already. I don't need to risk it for a second. I can just fall back now, and it really does put Barrage Esports in this almost box, Hugo, right? Because now they're kind of sitting there and going, okay, we're at a mad disadvantage. Let's group up. Let's go for an execute on towards this A site. Let's look at our utility. They have got enough smokes, they've got enough flashes, they have everything they need. But they're pushing into what should be a 3-man stack from the CT side. One that arguably is going to be just so damn tough for them now to penetrate.
Definitely so. Time is ticking, and they're really going to make this final push here. Windansky going to be very close, and they've really got to watch out for this position. There's so many Molotovs. They have no excuse for not clearing this one out, and it's going to go down. That'll force him out. They're going to hear the noise of him getting burnt a little bit, but he still gets to a safer position before the kill comes out. Shank just gets instantly decapitated, and the rest of the team going to fall as well. Neto only finds 2, but alas, it will be nothing found otherwise, and CAZ, again, another fairly clean round for themselves to force Barrage without a bomb plant back down to a bit of an awkward economical situation, but this will still justify a buy if they choose to.
If you notice one specific thing about that round, Hugo, and then you kind of link it into the others that we've seen as well, in the kind of the 6 that we've witnessed, there's one key trend, and I'm kind of curious on your thoughts behind this, because CAZ Esports, they always seem to be getting the engagements that they want on ramp. Barrage never seem to be able to get the jump on them. They never seem to be able to push out and get that first pick that allows them to push on towards A. All we seem to be seeing is the same old storyline of, okay, Reason with his M4 gets to peek wide on towards ramp while they're completely flashed. There's a lot of team play there, or Connor gets to dive around and just kind of have his own little almost chicken shoot on towards this T side. And yeah, I'm curious to see kind of on your thoughts on why Barrage are letting that happen.
Well, at the end of the day,
is there a fix?
Ramp is so hard to take anyway. You just dry. You need that full smoke setup. You need jungle and stairs covered. And okay, Boaster, cool. And even if
do that in the background,
yeah, whatever, who cares? Only eco frags can. But even if you have that, there's always potential to peek out over on bench from jungle as well. So it's already a really hard place to combat. But the whole point about taking ramp is you need the support from Palace. If you throw down that full smoke setup, and then you have Palace just spotting the jungle smoke, you can push out a ramp fairly safely, only having to worry about sight. And that seems like Barrage is just kind of lacking in terms of the team play. Wong should be up on Palace with that AWP, trying to hold down the jungle push, while the rest of them, attempt to go for a full A smoke, take onto the site. And it just seems that they haven't really been combining the team play and the cooperation from Palace. It just seems like a lot of solo plays going on at the moment.
One thing is certain, it's so much early damage towards mid. Connor, a double spray through the smoke. Heartbreaking for this T-side as Neto going to try and force their hand twisting into the side of CAZ Esports saying, look, I need a trade. Give me something right now. Give me something I can work with. But instead, the only thing he is going to be hitting is yet again that same old chopping block as the axe is going to fall upon his head. Peto and Velox will find themselves a trade, but it's just going to be Peto now left in a 1 versus 3.
It's all got to be over at this point, surely. Look at the aggression towards top mid. They're chasing him down. They don't even care. He just catches out the first 2 heads. What's that? Windansky and Reason fall, and now it's all going to be on Jacob. Definitely the man you'd want for the job, but he's not going to exactly realise where Peto's rotating to. Back towards the A site he goes, and Jacob, he may be a little bit late on this, but that smoke going to give away the position clearly. Going out onto stairs. Peto just making his way slowly but surely. Jacob's going to know, especially if that was a random smoke on the site. Jacob could go, oh, he's probably throwing it from B-apps, but the fact that that's so precisely on stairs, Jacob doesn't, he's not going to assume this is a B take with a bit of an A fake in the middle. So Peto starting his sneak out onto the A site, but Jacob's done with that pistol there, just playing the close range, obviously not holding the cross or anything, allowing a bomb plot if it comes to it. And it will. He's going to hear that same Molotov he used to get shanked a couple of rounds ago, and a perfect reaction. I love that from Jacob. He's going to be able to pick up the round single-handedly there. And no clutch today from Peto.
You've got to be looking at this CAZ Esports side right now and just going, they are going to be sitting there giggling on our way. The fact that they can get away with even kind of that bad of a misplay. Yeah, I'm going to go as far to say it. Letting those 2 kills be claimed the pedal towards the top of mid there was a misplay from the CT side. We could have seen a completely different round there where Barrage got themselves a foothold and from there made the comeback happen. But CAZ Esports are still able to just close it out. You got Jacob just popping off 10-1 right now. Whether it's respect, whether it's just sheer prowess as a team, as we talked about at the start, CAZ Esports seem to be able to just walk over this T side currently. They need something. They need to pull out some sort of magic trick that's going to save them, perhaps even a pause, just something to break the momentum. Because right now, it's not looking like a 16-6. It's looking like a 16-0.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that one, to be honest. And again, this relentless aggression from Boaster, he's going to be pushed up in apps over in the B site. While Barrage may not be there, he's still going to get a fair bit of information in terms of sound cues that there's probably not going to be some kind of A-take going on. So really, this is a kind of position, if you're going to be going for these information plays like Boaster, and he's going to be pushing in deep, he should be at least pushing enough to make the call that, okay, we can rotate our second player off of B and onto A. That's the whole point of the aggression in apps. It allows you to, make fluid rotations. And even Jacob's spotting here should kind of give away enough information that Boaster should be able to rotate, or at least justify some kind of push into the market. But either way, the A-take's going to come out here, shanked, and Connor just running through the smoke. Connor, that's just disgusting. What can you do when you're up against that, Flakes?
It's just so well placed. Every single angle is being covered. You've got a kind of that apartment's palace sort of push, however you want to put it, being held from Sandwich. You've then got jungle being held by Connor, who's just going to sit there and just play around that shroud. What can you do, I think, is a very apt question there, to be honest, Hugo. What can Barrage change? Is there really anything they can bring?
Not run through smokes, maybe?
I mean, aside from running through smokes, but I feel like when you're at kind of 8-0, you have to try and do something different, right? If you go back to playing your own game of CS, I think that's already gone out the window. It's already in the bin. So they have to try and go for something kind of a little bit off the cuff. Maybe some flashes could have been helpful, but even then, I feel like they would have landed those shots. Velox is trying to keep the dream alive, trying to keep it intact. But Connor is just going to land those shots. Again, totals out with a 4K for him in that round, and we are up to 9-0.
Well, this is certainly shaping out to be the map that Ryan, I guess, wanted in a way. He didn't want to be proven to be an idiot. He kind of wanted the stomp. I'd like to see Barrage get back into this one, but again, even if they have a chance on the CT side, if they don't get at least 3 rounds on this T side, there's not going to be any option for them. Lose pistol, that's it. That's literally the game over. So they're going to need to finally start shaping up. And I like how they're switching up the strategy. They haven't tried this yet, but the issue is they haven't gone for a window smoke. That's going to be easy. Connor catches out the first one. Neto goes down, and now this short play is going to be crushed. And I mean, not only has he gotten that kill, but they've also got the information of where Barrage are hitting. They know there's likely going to be this B control, and combined with that, the short control. But the issue is, Boaster's not even focusing on apps, even though the smoke's down. It's quite a surprise. And talking about surprise, Wong, he's dropping on, but look, he just walks right past Jacob. Oh, he's going to pull out the pistol, but Shank's going to get the first drop on him. And good entry to Barrage. The site should be theirs. Finally looking like a round's going to shape their way.
Is this a round? Is this the finally that foothold that we so dearly talked about? We wanted to see just something, a lifeline. Just a little bit of a beep in the meter. That bomb is going to tick on away now. Reason and Widansky, the last 2 left remaining. Are they going to try and go for this 2 versus 4? It certainly seems like the cards are well and truly stacked against them. And Reason's deciding, you know what? I think it's time for me to walk away from this one. I'm gotta count my odds, back off, save this AWP, bring the M4 as well for my teammate next in the round, do some damage here and there as Wong is going to walk right into his crosshair. And I'm going to bring it back down to another moot point, Hugo. I'm going to wreck any atmosphere for the Barrage fans out there, because the one kind of huge apparent point, and I feel like you're almost just about to go into this, is this reset.
Reset, let's go. Yeah, obviously if Barrage lose the upcoming round, we're going to be seeing another eco. No, maybe not. It depends on the bomb plant and what kind of money they have after this buy. They save 3 players, which is very important. If they don't save any players, or they only save 1 or 2, we'd likely be seeing it. But either way, that doesn't matter, because if CAZ win this round, it's going to be reset time for Barrage's economy, and that is detrimental when you're 11 rounds in, Ryan. If that happens early on in the game, could be worse. You can still catch up from it. But when you're 9-1 down and you get reset, that's the half completely over. There's nothing else you can do. This is going to be reset anyway. Wong, just triple entry, casual as it is, leaves all on Jacob.
Most importantly, leaves all our concerns to the dust, as Jacob is that last man remaining with an AWP, and he's kind of looking, okay, boys, what happened? Like, where did you go? Kind of almost just licking his wounds now as he's standing over towards B, and he's in a pretty tough predicament, really. There's no choice, I think, for him to save. I think that's almost guaranteed. Just wants to bring the AWP, because CAZ Esports, their money isn't going to last forever. You take a look at that right now. We're looking at 1050 on Connor, only 1,600 on Jacob, which I think is, has to be said. As much as Barrage weren't necessarily picking up rounds, they were always doing damage. So CAZ Esports haven't been able to build things up on their CT side. So it has to be saved, but could this lead to that 9-6? 10-5? Are we at that shred of hope?
Come on, don't be unrealistic. I mean,
is there a dream?
I'm joking. There
is
is a
someone
possibility.
standing out there in the stars looking
No,
up there going, you know what, I believe the boys in blue will take this home?
It is possible. Look at the money of CAZ. That's something as well you got to take into account. There should be a free round now for Barrage because the money is so impacted. The CAZ can't even afford to buy here. They've got a couple of pistols across the board, but by and large, it's going to be another round for Barrage. Damn, that rhymed. But yeah, another fast B play, it seems, straight into the site. I like that. The thing is, it just shows what the CT economy is like. CAZ win 9 rounds in a row, and they lose 2, and now they're on an eco. So it's just, again, that also rhymed. What is happening with me, Ryan? But
yeah, but they actually have to not lose this round, which the pistols are going to completely shut them down. The Lawnmower Poster finds himself a triple kill, as I hate to interject you there, but Hugo, what is this?
Triggered.
What are we watching?
I'm so triggered.
Just because you want to be an Olympian, just because you want to win a marathon, doesn't mean that you can. That right there is Barrage Esports falling on over. They cannot make it work. It's 10-2. What was that? Not a single bit of damage was received by the CAZ players that round. Not 1 point of damage. They all left the server with 100 HP. Oh, for God's sake. GG to Boaster, but that was still just upsetting for Barrage to not have their angles covered. The fact that someone can just run in with a V250 and not be denied instantly is just quite upsetting. And that's, again, going to come down to one of these issues of Barrage communication and team play. Oh, but look at this Velox. Spots the rifle over and connector. He's going to get caught out. No. Nice double play. That's a bait, I think. Connor just shoots him down from window. I think that was a purposeful bait. If that was a bait, that is so damn smart.
No, that was a bait because Velox, not Velox, Reason.
You can see him kind of jiggling with his barrel.
Yeah, Reason wasn't playing the typical connector spot. He was pushed up by the plant pots, and you never hold underpass from that position. So he was just trying to bait out the play. That's very clever.
So clever, and again, I feel like, how many times have we said the phrase heartbreaking or something at this point?
Well,
this?
Not me.
Yeah, I feel like I am kind of riding a bit of a wave of emotions right now. They say casting is all about kind of going with it, you know, on the ups and the downs. Well, I don't really know where we're at right now, but it's a bit of a bumpy one as Barrage. There is possibility. They have got the SD on towards one, of course, 3 rifles all in all. Shank going to try and hold the angle onto Windansky, punishes him. The OV aggression as Pedo going to find another towards mid, gets himself the double kill as he picks off Jacob as well. Now swings in towards connector. He gets it on towards Connor, so it is going to be Barrage with a quick mop up, getting themselves a 3. Look at the economy of CAZ actually.
Very up and down. They can still buy, obviously, but Reason's actually not got a lot of cash to his name. Drop should be easy, though. Even so, he can just get up a pistol if he needs be. And I don't think I'm too worried about CAZ's prospects, especially with the amount of ridiculous rounds that they've been winning, you know, without losing a single player, especially with peaks like that. That was perfect. That was vintage Jacob, you know?
That was, yeah, a special edition. Can't just pick that one up. I think Connor is going to find himself just another with the M4, just going to add them to the tally almost, add a little bit of extra cheek to the situation as they drop a Molotov in towards window, but I don't think that's really going to be too influential in the grand scheme of things. All that's going to do is kind of tell Barrage with a bit of a subtle hint of, okay, you've got window control, but you know, what about short? What about Jacob, who's going to be the thorn in your side? At every single point that you think him, well, to not be there, every single point you don't expect Jacob to appear, he's right behind you, lurching in the shadows with that AWP, and yeah, looking to be pretty brutal for them at this point. They're so concerned about mid that they are actually just going to back off and decide, okay, you know, maybe we have to just push directly out on towards the site, which, you know, considering the numbers, Hugo, isn't necessarily a bad idea. You know, they've only got this 3v5, so going for these ramp entries certainly could work out for them. But then there's the utility question. Yeah, it's pretty much going to be one flash and then you're done. Yeah, that's the issue. With this kind of buy left on yourself, you're going to want to just flash yourself into B. It's the safest option. A, so open, and you need those smokes to cut off so many positions as well as a Molotov. Windansky's already proven to be a bit of a threat on the balcony, and without being able to clear him out, especially with a lack of split coming from Palace, which I don't blame them for, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to find anything this round. It's all going to be on Windansky. Peto does get the entry, though, but Windansky's not showing himself, and this, while some people would see his bait, is very, very clever. Check
2
your
kills
corners,
and 3! Connor actually gets the first one, though. You know, it takes away from the hype, but great stuff from Windansky.
Hugo, why didn't they check that?
Because he didn't peek. That's the whole point. If you play that position, and you know, you see Peto get that first entry over towards CT, and you're like, oh, okay, there's not been a re-peek from under balcony, so it's going to be clear. Well, in an ESCA pug, that's baiting, and you should be minus repped for it. Or minus karma for it, you know. In an actual game where you have communication, you know what your teammate's doing. It's the safest option because you don't show yourself. You allow your teammates to rotate back in, and not only that, you know, go unnoticed.
Still think these guys should just be checking these corners. It's wow, what a matchup so far. Reason gonna find us just another headshot. smart play maybe brought to the table, but it is the antidote of CAZ Esports that is also shutting it down.
You talk about ramp. Did you just see what Reason did? They threw a smoke out, and by the time before the smoke even popped, they were out at Tetris, and Reason just peeks right as the smoke pops and takes a free kill. That's another issue. You talked about their ramp control being severely lackluster. Well, if you're going to push out before the smoke's down, what do you expect? Dear. At least they got 3 rounds. I mean,
at least they got 3 rounds, right? That's. I mean, they only have to get 3 more to get that best case scenario.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. No, at least they weren't 60-node, or
I think
weren't 50-node.
It's a bit of a positive aspect to it, but I'm looking at some of these rounds, Hugo, and I'm still, you may not physically be 60-node, but mentally,
oh, definitely.
I don't know. There's got to be an argument to some of these rounds as being that far out there, that far with that kind of aura of craziness. Some of these shots, that, well. Yeah, I think it really kind of explains itself. Either way, it is going to be going to the second half, though. And what are you thinking? I'm thinking all or nothing pistol round, really.
I mean, who doesn't? Yeah, at this point, you need that pistol. It'll be interesting to see if CAZ are just going to go for, balls to the wall, full Glock armor, rush B or something, or if they're actually going to go for a proper smoke take and do something interesting. Because when you're at 12-3, it's sometimes hard to justify anything strategic. You just want to go for an aggressive, just fast push. And it actually seems like they are going for something strategic, which I do like. They're not letting confidence get the better of them, and they're just playing it a lot safer. So in towards middle they go. They've got the 2 smoke players outside of A, so this could result in 2 things. Either a fast short play, which is very unlikely, or the 3 players in middle splitting in through connector through these smokes, which would be a very, very clever play. I would like to see that. So smokes are going to go down on A site. That's jungle and palace taken, but oh no, it is the short play. Okay, this is interesting. The thing is, if you were going to do this, you usually like to have a window smoke down so the CTs didn't know where you're going. But either way, they're going to get there relatively unscathed. Only 1 death so far, and that's Jacob. Neto's on the site with the USB, but he's only 3 HP, and they should be able to clear him out fairly quickly. But Windansky's going to fall, and now this is starting to fall apart from CAZ. They've not hit a shot yet.
Yeah, seemingly a bit of a struggling situation right now. Connor eventually going to claw back on towards Neto, but it is going to be the 2 versus 4. They really need to start picking these up for Reason. Just another Gush on towards Velox, another on towards Pedo, leaving us in a 1 versus 1, Wong versus Connor. The shots are going out, but it is going to be that Gush on towards the cranium of Wong. He is left done and dusted. CAZ Esports in a very close pistol round, it has to be said, unable to seal the deal on the side of Barrage. CAZ, they take it 13-3.
That's great individual performance though from Connor there.
For sure, stepping up exactly in the time we need, and I think almost a counterpoint to that, look towards Neto and say he had a real big opportunity to do so much more from his position when they were pushing from short. I hate to kind of really look at one player and say, you could have been better, but he was unfortunately just tapping at heads, tapping at 3 separate different players, and unfortunately was unable to find a single pick until later on in the round.
Yeah. No analysis needed for that. 13-3.
It is what it is.
I think I'm going to agree with you. This should be over, right? The scout play is interesting. It may luckily catch them off guard, considering they have a lot of SMGs and not the AKs. But at the end of the day, still we're seeing CAZ likely with the win coming out ahead of them. Jacob is going to be pushing into B. There are 3 players stacked towards here. He doesn't clear out the site. Going to get tagged down to 4 HP, but still focusing on Shanked. Where's Shank's teammate? Why is he still baiting him on top of the box? He needs to be pushing towards him, but ring around the roses. Jacob finally going to go down. It's a 4-on-4. The rest of the CAZ are all going to be hitting it towards the relatively unprotected A, and Connor, again, another massive round for him with 2 entries.
He's feeling pretty crisp at this point. So it's just going to be Neto and Peso, the dynamic duo. Trying to make the best out of a pretty awkward situation now. It is going to be needed to find one with the pistol, as mentioned. Taps away on towards Windansky. So a bit of a reward. But is that couple $100 going to actually be worth too much in the context of a round? Yeah, unfortunately, really not. It is going to be just backing off with the UMP here and there. 14-3.
Yeah, they should be getting away with those guns fairly easily as well on the T side. Just moving away from the bomb, so no more losses than they really need to. And obviously, at this point, it's an awkward situation for Barrage, because yes, they are keeping the guns and the armor into the next round, but where is that really going to go? If they continue to save at these kind of situations, it's just going to end up resulting in them losing the map. There's only 2 more rounds left needed for CAZ, so it's not going very well for Barrage. I think that's the understatement of the year.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I think, that's kind of where we're at this point. Rifles are plenty, though, for this T side. Looking to still make some money as well, which I kind of do like that from CAZ. They're not, you know, it might be a little bit of cheek in the same regard, but they're just playing their normal CS. They're not doing anything they wouldn't normally do, you know, no matter the scoreline, right? They're keeping that Mac 10 in play, keeping the UMP, and they're just going to look for these picks and see how things will swing, and potentially even try and just push them further into their fade. There is the weights, should we say, already are pretty bogged down. I think that's apparent, but Barrage, they do have an opportunity to try and kind of squeeze out a couple more rounds at least and put a bit of a fighting chance as Jacob aggression towards mid, finds the frag on towards Wong. Shank responds with just a bit of a pistol tapping. He finds that quick affair. And Reason over towards CT trying to clear out that angle. Belks will try and contest. Now he's got Pedo coming up from behind him, so they could actually do quite a lot here in terms of this kind of bait and switch, which allows Pedo actually to snap with the Deagle and get himself one. But when Dansky towards Sandwich gets the quick trade on towards Neto, as he then tries to find a trade in himself. So a whole big trading affair, and well, one that is a pretty awkward situation, but the Eagles, as mentioned, still keeping it close.
Yeah, now Connor, I mean, it's a doable situation, but time is ticking away and he's going to find himself a quick pick. Shanked is going to be holding into the connector. He peeks into it, gets that first kill, turns back around, and Peto, he's repositioned, yes, but he still knows exactly where he is. Uses as his last utility just to flash him out, but that bomb's going to still be in the hands of Peto. He'll be holding it, and he'll be giving away his position as well. In the meantime, spraying away, but Connor's going to land the shot. CAZ, they pick up the 15th round, and need I say GG at this point. Barrage, their money is in absolute tatters.
Yeah, it really is a bit of a shipwrecked position for them now, and I'm kind of looking at the scoreboard and seeing if any kind of real starlight springs out for me, and just kind of almost, you know, listening back to a couple of these rounds as well. And Connor, I think it's pretty apparent, 27-8 right now, really has been the man to kind of take the CAZ flag, hold it nice and high, and say, you know what, boys, we're taking this one home today. This is going to be our victory for us, and I think that certainly does speak 1,000 words in regards to just his stats. And
yeah, and
they're not really as a weak link though for the CT side, or for what was the CT side of CAZ either, was there?
No, and especially with the fact that Connor is getting those impact frags as well. I mean, we thought they'd lost the pistol, but he somehow goes up and gets a 4K there. So it just shows it's not just, you know, anti-eco frags or pointless frags. He's actually getting real impact kills, and that's something so important. But I mean, it's all on Wong. It was all on Wong. Round's going to be over though, and the map concluded. Ryan, I've got to give it to you. You made the prediction. You called a 16-3, and you were definitely right on that. So that is going to be the win going for CAZ. Barrage, not a great start for them. Is there a chance they can bring it back in the second map?